Have you ever wondered what it looks like when a massive empire just crumbles from the inside? Today, we're diving into one of the most dramatic periods of Mughal history, focusing on a ruler whose reign perfectly captures the empire's final, gasping breaths. This is the story of Ahmad Shah Bahadur, the emperor who inherited a broken kingdom and watched it shatter. In 1748, the Mughal throne passed from Muhammad Shah to his son, Ahmad Shah Bahadur. Now, you might picture a grand coronation, a powerful new leader ready to steer the ship. But the reality was far from it. The empire Ahmad Shah inherited was already a ghost of its former self, fractured, bankrupt, and losing its grip on vast territories. Ahmad Shah himself was young, inexperienced, and honestly, more interested in a life of luxury and entertainment than the gritty business of ruling. He loved comfort, he loved fun, but the serious, demanding work of an emperor, not so much. This created a massive power vacuum. And you know what happens when there's a vacuum? Ambitious people rush in to fill it. Powerful nobles and cunning ministers effectively seized control of the government. The emperor, who was supposed to be the ultimate authority, became little more than a puppet, a figurehead whose name was used to rubber-stamp decisions made by others. The real power was in the hands of men who were playing their own game of thrones right in the heart of Delhi. One of the biggest problems during his reign was the complete collapse of law and order. Imagine provinces that were once loyal to the emperor just deciding to go their own way. They started collecting their own taxes, running their own affairs, and basically ignoring any orders that came from the capital. It was like the empire was dissolving in real time. And what about the money? The legendary Mughal treasury, once overflowing with gold and jewels, was completely empty. The government was broke. They couldn't even pay the army properly, which meant the military was weak, demoralized, and unable to enforce the emperor's will. At the center of this political storm was a particularly powerful minister named AHMAD. This guy was the ultimate puppet master. He heavily influenced Ahmad Shah Bahadur, whispering in his ear and making all the crucial decisions. He controlled appointments, finances, and military commands. The emperor was powerless to stop the rampant corruption that was eating away at the administration. He couldn't assert his authority. He couldn't unite his nobles, and he couldn't protect his empire from internal decay and external threats. He was trapped in a golden cage, watching everything fall apart. The situation became so dire that the empire was essentially run by competing factions of nobles, each looking out for their own interests. The concept of a unified Mughal state was vanishing fast. This period wasn't just about a weak ruler. It was about the total system failure of what was once the most powerful empire in the world. The foundations had rotted away, and Ahmad Shah Bahadur was simply the emperor unlucky enough to be sitting on the throne when the whole structure began to cave in. So, how does this story end for our emperor? Well, not well. In 1754, the same powerful nobles who had been controlling him decided they were done with the charade, led by the very same Ahmad al-Mulk. They made their move. Ahmad Shah Bahadur was forcibly removed from the throne, deposed in a humiliating coup. But his suffering didn't end there. He was imprisoned and, in a grim final chapter, eventually blinded and killed. His 6-year reign came to a tragic and violent end. The fall of Ahmad Shah Bahadur was more than just a personal tragedy. It was a clear signal to the world that the Mughal emperors had lost all real power. The empire was now just a name, a shadow of its glorious past. His story is a stark reminder of how quickly even the mightiest empires can decline when leadership falters and internal divisions take over. He is remembered not as a great builder or a fierce warrior, but as a weak emperor who presided over a broken empire. His reign, a critical chapter in the final, sad decline of the Mughal dynasty. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this piece of history fascinating, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about the rise and fall of great empires. See you in the next video.